Our reading today is the pulpit one. Our reading today is from the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verses 4b to 25. At the time when Adonai made the heavens and the earth, there was still no wild bush on the earth, nor had any wild plant sprung up, for Adonai had not yet sent rain to the earth, and there was no human being to till the soil. Instead, a flow of water would well up from the ground and irrigate the soil. So Adonai fashioned an earth creature out of the clay of the earth and blew into its nostrils the breath of life. And the earth creature became a living being. Adonai planted a garden to the east in Eden, land of pleasure, and placed in it the earth creature that had been made. Then Adonai caused every kind of tree, enticing to look at and good to eat, to spring from the soil. In the center of the garden was the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. A river flows through Eden to water the garden, after which it branches into 4 tributaries. The first stream is Pishon, or Spreader. It circles through Havilah, a land rich in gold of the highest quality. There are gum resins there and precious onyx stones. The second stream is named Gihon, or Gusher, and it flows through the entire land of Cush. The third stream is the Tigris, which borders Assyria on the east. The fourth stream, the Euphrates. Then Adonai took the earth creature and settled it in the Garden of Eden so that it might cultivate and care for the land. Adonai commanded the earth creature, "You may eat as much as you like from any of the trees of the garden, except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You must not eat from that tree, for on the day that you eat from that tree, that is the day you will die. Yes, die." Then Adonai said, "It is not good for the earth creature to be alone. I will make a fitting companion for it." So from the soil, Adonai formed all the various wild beasts and all the birds of the air and brought them to the earth creature to be named. Whatever the earth creature called each one, that became its name. The earth creature gave names to all the cattle, all the birds of the air, and all the wild animals. But none of them proved to be a fitting companion. So Adonai made the earth creature fall into a deep sleep, and while it slept, God divided the earth creature in 2, then closed up the flesh from its side. Adonai then fashioned the 2 halves into male and female and presented them to one another. When the male realized what had happened, he exclaimed, "This time, this is the one, a bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Now she will be woman and I will be man, because we are of one flesh." This is why people leave their parents and become bonded to one another, and the 2 become one flesh. Now the man and the woman were both naked, though they were not ashamed. Friends, listen to what the Spirit would say to us today.
Will you join me in prayer? Gracious, holy, loving God, may our words and our thoughts and our reflections, may they all be a blessing to you this day and every day and always. Amen. Let's see if this works. In the beginning, there was a In the beginning of creation, there was a problem. As far as we can tell, the problem is that the land needed to be cared for, to be tilled and farmed and harvested. At the beginning of creation, God needed to send rain for the plants to grow. And then there was no one to care for that earth. So there was no reason yet to have the rain fall, to have the plants grow. In the beginning of creation, there was a problem that needed to be solved. At the beginning of creation, there was a geyser, or a hot spring. I'm going to grab my stand. That welled up and bubbled in the dry land, making mud where there had just been dirt. And God took a handful of that dry mud and made it and played with it. In Hebrew, the word for ground is Adamah. And God began to work and play like a potter and shaped it into a creature that looked like a human. A being that could work in the soil and care for the land. It was an earth creature. They called it Adam because it came from the word Adamah. It's a play on a word. It is a non-gendered creature without a name. It was not yet man, despite what many in the future would say. So the first problem was solved. And now this life, of which God had breathed the very breath into, had a new problem that bubbled up like the geyser at the very beginning. Because this creature was made of the earth, the Adamah. It had a relationship to the earth and a relationship to the potter who made the earth and the earth creature. God, who made the earth creature, wasn't always going to be able to walk side by side with the earth creature. And it was not good for this earth creature to be alone. Because this earth creature was built for relationships from the very ground of its being up into its heart and its mind, that it ought not be alone. So God had a new problem to solve. A companion must be made for earth creature, one that could help the earth creature work the soil, that could be a companion to the earth creature, one that could walk through the garden with, could have conversations with, one that could be like an equal. It is often said that the earth creature, Adam, needed a helper, someone to assist the earth creature in their work. We made a man, I forgot. All right. What we have in the text, oh no, is Azar. The helper in Azar is a little different than just one who is to help, to assist, to be second to, but it is the same word that is used when they cry out to God for help. This is a special kind of help, a divine help, help that you cannot get on your own. So God picked up some clay and worked it into animals, making pigeons and pelicans, cattle. Oh no, it's a little video. There they go. Pigeons and pelicans and cattle and camels and herring and fish. And while they might be helpful in tilling the soil and caring for the land, they were not a suitable companion for the earth creature. So God made the animals and thought and wondered that maybe there was a different approach. Instead of making a companion out of the brand new clay that God picked up, that maybe God would make a companion out of the creature itself. Maybe that would be a suitable companion. So God anesthetized the earth creature, made it to sleep, and took from the side a bunch of clay, the former clay, from the side of the earth creature, dividing it into two parts and mending the first one and building the second. And in generations that were to come between then and now, there would be ones who would say that the second creature was less than the first. They'll say that God took the tiniest portion, just a little rib out of the side of the first one, earth creature, a little rib, to make the second creature. But that's not really what our translation says. It's not really what God did. And if that were true, that whatever is made from the original is less than the original, then the first earth creature, man, would be less than the dirt itself. Consider that one. When the earth creature wakes up and sees the difference between himself and this new creature that was built, only then he notices the distinction between him and the new creation. He names himself man and names her woman. Really big birds is what happened here. Not to scale. Of course, the problems are not over for this couple. They will have troubles and they will make mistakes. There will also be trouble that we and many others before us, the spiritual descendants of these stories, will have. This story has been made one of power and authority, of dominance and ownership, of value and worth. It has been made a story of exact history and science as if it were fact, and not a lore to teach us about God, about a God that got its hands dirty, playing in the mud and the muck to bring life, to bring into the world creatures and humans and birds and cattle and fish who would play a part in caring for the earth and living in it and in relationship with it. It's a story that's been used to claim one part of creation is more important and not claiming in humility and acknowledging our place. That earth creatures, that we belong to the earth and to the other creatures and to each other. Of course, it doesn't say that issues of gender, it doesn't stay just issues of gender, but it extends to the rest of the world and the rest of our lives, of how we pit ourselves against each other and other people, about how we believe ourselves to be more important, how we create a hierarchy of valuable creatures, animals, other people, those who are less deserving or don't belong because they don't fit the mold that we have tried to make them into, instead of letting them be who God formed them to be. But we and they are made by God, built for relationships and belong. There is a librarian who makes very short videos. Yes, they are on TikTok. They're also on Facebook, so you can find them if you want to learn more. He talks about caring for the children who come to the library, but also caring for the adults. And this one came across this week. Oops. Skip that.
I'm doing my walk around the library, pushing in chairs, and I come across this person who appears to be unhoused. I push in the chair next to them and say, "Hey, how's it going?" They're immediately on the defensive. They start grabbing their bags, saying, I'm leaving, I'll go, okay." I say, "It's okay, I'm just saying hi. Please stay. I want you to be here in the library." They look at me and they say, "You're obnoxiously kind." So all I can say is everything okay?" They say, "My brain hurts," which is an incredibly interesting way to say that you're struggling with your mental health. They go on to tell me that their story, that a couple of days before this, they wanted to unalive themselves. They didn't think anybody cared. They came back to the library just for somewhere to sit. And they said that I always say hi to them, but that my library people also always say hi to them. They said that they no longer wanted to unalive themselves, which is so amazing. It is the power of the library, of connection, of interrupting someone's day with a simple greeting, with saying hi. They told me that they were once a library kid. They grew up in my library. They came every single week. That is a grown-up library kid who needs help, who needed someone to tell them that they belong. I'm happy that I could be that person that day. I'm so proud that my library people made them feel welcome, made them feel that they belong. That's all that we're trying to do in this world together, is exist. Take care of your mental health. Come to the library where you belong.
The power of the library. But I think could also be the power of a church community, a family. Because from the very first moments of creation, the very first stories we have of who we are as humans living in this world are about relationships. A relationship to one another, our relationship to the earth. Oh, good. And our relationship to the creatures in it and on it. And we belong to each other, and we are built to be here and care for each other, to be each other's helpers in our times of need. And sometimes it's our intimate partners, and sometimes it is good friends, and sometimes it is a community, a family that we have made ourselves that comes together to celebrate, to care, to hold each other when we grieve. We are built for relationships. It is in the way we are molded and formed and built. It is who we are and how we are made to live in mutuality and in community and in care for each other. And this church family, this church home, this community is part of that community of care and support and love. We care and support and grow and become together and support each other as we are being made and remade. It is how we help and support and challenge each other. And so we belong to each other, to the earth, to God. We belong in relationship and in community, in support and challenge, and in love and compassion. So for a moment, I invite you to join me in a little liturgy. In the beginning, God created all that is. God formed us out of the dust of the earth. God entrusted us with the care and keeping of all that God has made. It is not good for us to be alone in this work. Therefore, God gives us helpers, equal partners in God's call. God, who is three in one, created us for relationship. Relationship with God and with one another. Thanks be to God for loving communities. So may your day, may your week, your year be one of community, of living relationship with all creation. May your week be one of obnoxious kindness and care for each other and all of creation. Friends, you belong here, and I am so glad you are here. Amen. Friends, as